And this is to take effect from November 26 for 1 month. They say that it was prompted by multiple violations of foreign exchange market regulations. Let's go by the telephone line and once again engage Dr. Richmond Etiahene. He's a banking consultant. Thank you so much, Doc, for joining us here on the Morning Star.
Good morning. Thank you too.
I hope you're well.
By the grace of the Almighty, I'm doing exceptionally well.
Fantastic. And we are engaging you again this morning because there's a new development coming in from the Bank of Ghana in relation to the CBG's foreign exchange trading license. According to the Bank of Ghana, this suspension, which is to last for 1 month, is to begin on November 26th. And it has been prompted by multiple violations of foreign exchange market regulations. Now, first of all, CBG is state-owned. How is it violating these foreign exchange market regulations? It's a state institution. It should know better. No?
Thank you very much. It's all that we've been saying about good corporate governance. The state institution governance is nothing to write home about. The question is that who are the board members and who are the management team? Because from what I'm hearing, and if what I'm hearing is the truth, it can be a damning issue with that bank. The reason being is that I am reliably informed that even the contract between the CBG and that absent has not been actually ratified or accepted by Bank of Ghana. And they've been operating this for more than 2 years or 3 years. The rules is that any fintech or any money MTOs, you must first get consent of Bank of Ghana. And Bank of Ghana will do a due diligence on them before you started doing business. Unfortunately, if what I'm hearing is true, this business has been going on and they have been breaching the Foreign Exchange Act like nobody's business. Because I have said that certain organizations outside the country are externalizing these remittances. When I say it, Nana, when I say it, they even insult me. Unfortunately, today and yesterday I've been vindicated. And I'm so grateful to God that all the things I've been saying is now being vilified. Because when I said in my lecture in June that the licensing of these institutions has not been properly conducted, the reason being is that the Foreign Exchange Act, I've forgotten the section, I think section 15, it states categorically that it is only Bank of Ghana or authorized dealer banks that are supposed to hold on foreign exchange for the interests of the country. The remittances, what is happening is that they've created CD wallets, and the CD comes in and the dollar doesn't come, the euro doesn't come, the pound doesn't come, and it's been going on. And to shock you, if you go to Bank of Ghana audited statement 2023, I only found 18 billion CDs for 2022 and 50-something billion in 2020. These banks were not even reporting direct the equivalent of the dollar or the euro or the yen or the pound to Bank of Ghana. They were only reporting CD. And for Bank of Ghana also to capture that CD in their statement, I find it quite unbelievable. Unbelievable. Because if somebody is sending you remittances and he's telling you CD, the CD, it doesn't come in CD. And this is something I've been saying it over and over again. And I've endured the insults from somebody. There was a young man who came to a place at one of the lectures. Basically, he's insulting as if I don't know what I'm talking about. And this young man, when we were doing Foreign Exchange Act in the 80s, you were possibly not born. When we were looking at the Western Union and the MoneyGram, this young man, you were not born. And then you come there and throw your weight about. Today, I wish they would cover their face in shame and get the audacity to even render unqualified apologies from the governor to all those people who have been insulting me. I have said, and I will say it here now and then, that the Foreign Exchange Act does not allow any institution, whether you're DMI, dedicated money institution or your fintech. The law says specifically that it is only authorized dealer banks and Bank of Ghana. Unfortunately, we can go to the rest. We can go to see the rest, the 11 fintech. Go and ask them there. Has anybody accounted for the CD? They've created, I won't mention his name, the people who came in as telecos, and today they are the giant players in money transfer. And we see nothing wrong about it. We see nothing wrong. Somebody comes to our telecos. Today he's a giant player in money transfer, and nobody sees wrong in anything about it. In which country can you go and then suddenly diversify into financial services without properly regulated? It is only in Ghana. You can't try it in Nigeria. You can't try it in Ivory Coast. And when we say it, they say, oh, these people, they are too low. Today, I'm very grateful to God and thankful to God that I have been vindicated, because what is happening is only a tip of an iceberg, that we have actually externalized these important dollar or remittances to the economy. And that is why the city is running like you said, and it will run. Irrespective of the rate they have started creating, bringing a new rate from Bank of Ghana, 16.35, when the rate is 17.35. You see, Latin, we said, nemo dat non con habet. No one claims what you don't have. You can't just put the rate there as if you have the dollar. You don't have the dollar, you don't have the pound, you don't have the euro. It is a true reflection of the price of the city. So for me, when I saw the notices, and I've gotten a new notice in another direction, apart from what you have seen, some institutions are part of this, the problem. Some financial institutions. So Bank of Ghana has now directed all the institutions doing tap cents that they should not be dealing with them. How can we sign on? How can anybody sign on an institution and do not do his due diligence and ensure compliance of the Foreign Exchange Act?
But then again, you say, but then again, it goes back to the issue of supervision. One of the major reasons for which we saw the banking sector clean up was that what was cited was that the Bank of Ghana was not proactive. And so how is it that a fintech would come into the company rendering this service? We know what the law says with regard to our foreign exchange, that is supposed to be deposited with the Bank of Ghana at least. And if you have a partner bank, it means that you are depositing it with those banks and you are supposed to render accounts to the Bank of Ghana. How is it that this has gone on for 2 years and we are now taking action? These adverts, for instance, with this fintech, Tap Send, it's been going on as far as I remember. They were on social media, on various, YouTube channels, among others. Did the Bank of Ghana not see this?
Well, you've answered your own question. You said your own question, you have answered. If you have a weak supervisory and conduct regulation, that is how we find ourselves. Because, as you said, when we have this financial crisis, they said it's estimated to have cost 25 billion, 7.7% of the GDP. The question you ask yourself, were there no supervisors going there? Were there not examiners going there? But anytime you say this, they will stand to defend themselves. They will stand to defend themselves. So I hope this thing that has happened, Bank of Ghana will call for, as I said yesterday, they should call for forensic audit. And if anybody has been found culpable, he must be facing the law, because it is against the Foreign Exchange Act, and it ends up in imprisonment or sentencing. Because you see, if you have a weak link, which is the regulation, the supervision and the conduct regulation, that is how we have ourselves in this. So what you're saying is true. When the financial crisis came, they said, BLG went there and do that. They go there every other year. So didn't they see, as you said, this Starr has been operating as far as God knows, maybe 2019, when the law was passed. And so are they saying that they do not go there to conduct examination to find out how these monies are being treated? They just give them the CD here, they send the CD here, and the dollar doesn't come. And when you say it, you have a young man who is they say he's the head of fintech, he has the audacity to even insult me. I mean, may the Lord do to him more also, because I am vexed that when I'm telling you the truth, instead of you listening to the truth and knowing we have practiced it over years, Now, again, let me tell you something. When I was a credit person in First Atlantic as an executive director, I used to buy $28 million worth of from ADB, Western Union, to support oil importation. And I did it. And I know how I get my money from ADB, Western Union. And then you create a situation. You create, I don't know what they have created. They created some issues. Yeah, people are siphoning the dollar. People are taking the dollar, the euro, the pound. And then when you talk about it now, yesterday when I spoke to you, I got a call from people. And then people are commending me for coming out. Because the question is that a lot of people do not understand. And they think that they are the only person. So what you're saying, how has it gone? Why the conduct regulator couldn't say it? And the examiner, which is the supervisory division, also didn't say it. And now you come and write a note, suspend it, and they have sent another directives to all banks and all financial. Look, they've sent another, I'll send it to you. Now you're writing notices as if nothing is happening. When we said it earlier, about 3-4 months ago, and I made this suggestion that people are, they say, no. Now look at it. They have brought the CD, they have used the CD in this country to give it to the bank, that CBG. But the foreign exchange, they have never received, they didn't receive foreign exchange. And all that they were getting commissions, and they were not receiving the foreign exchange. I can challenge them in any court because I have the evidence of what I'm talking about. It is unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. At the time when the city is running, like Usain Bolt, then you have allow people to externalize something that could have supported the economy. Unfortunately, it's very sad, very, very sad. I hope the minister and those who are supervising them can get up to this today and begin to set a commission of inquiry to find how could we have done this to ourselves. When we can go and beg for $3 billion, when remittances, according to World Bank, could have given us $4.6 billion. Bank of Ghana, but the Bank of Ghana himself tracked only $2.6 billion. The other $2 billion is nowhere to be found. And when you talk about your bad tracking, tracing, and capturing, they will defend themselves. Anything you say, the people defend themselves. And I'm wondering whether they came from heaven to man our institutions. People, we have all worked in international banks before we came, so we know what we are talking about. So now, what you're saying to me, you are saying the right thing. It's happening in the financial crisis. It's happening again. And this is dangerous. This is more, because this one, you can't quantize it because it's in dollars and euro, and people are keeping it. So I hope what your interview today will let them humble themselves. They should humble themselves and come down and submit to people that people can help them. We are Ghanaians. Anything I say, at my age, I say to support the development of the economy. I'm not interested in the parties. I'm not interested in anything. I am interested in the economic stability of the country.
I'm reading some of the breaches that the Bank of Ghana talks about. So, updated guidelines for inward remittances, remittance service payment service providers dated November 2023, and the anti-money laundering combating the financing of terrorism and proliferation of weapons of mass destruction guideline for accountable institutions in Ghana dated December 2022, which have come to the attention of the Bank of Ghana. These are grave issues. And once again, I shudder to think that CBG is a state institution. It's an amalgamation of various banks that were taken over by the Bank of Ghana and eventually formed the CBG. And then to see that this is what is happening with it. This suspension is to last for a month. Is it enough to tidy up everything?
I don't believe that. As I've always told you, and I told you yesterday, it is time for us to appoint an external consultant to do a due diligence and to find how much money has been externalized and how they were using the CD wallet to pay without accounting for the euro, the pound, the dollar, the yen, and the kwacha, and the South African rand. I mean, that is the most important. It's not suspension. I mean, to me, the suspension, he said it some time ago. Some people did the same thing. He suspended them. What was the outcome? I mean, what they have done? They have flouted and breached the Foreign Exchange at 2006. They have breached it, and it results in punishment. So suspending them and saying this English is, to me, is neither here nor there. We should go far more into it and begin to see that all the things that I have been saying about this fintech, is it what I'm saying which is the truth or what they are saying? Because from the records I have, instead of them reporting even the dollar, they were reporting CD to Bank of Ghana. And Bank of Ghana was capturing it in their statement. If somebody tells you that he has brought 3 billion and he didn't tell you the equivalent of the dollar or the euro, then you capture in your own statement. It's a big indictment of central bank.
And so you are calling for a forensic audit of the entire system, if I can call it so. Who should be the one doing it? Because from the explanation, it looks as though the Bank of Ghana itself is equally complicit in this manner. So who should be the one conducting this audit? If the banks were presenting to the BOG these proceeds in CDs when they were supposed to be in the currencies they were receiving, then you cannot, you cannot exclude the Bank of Ghana of blame.
You see, when I said the donor agencies, the IMF, the World Bank, the European Union, they should pay consultants to do a job. Because if we are able to stop this menace, look, the debt, the 3 billion debt or the 13 billion that we have rescheduled, it won't be a headache on our head. Because the remittance alone will give us, say, 4 billion every year. And we can use 3 billion to service the debt. So it should not be allowed, just Bank of Ghana saying it. I am just urging the donor agencies, especially the IMF and the World Bank, to quickly get into the bottom of this. And I'm reliably informed that what I did has sparked this argument. And I hope they will tell the central bank and the Minister of Finance and the government, look, we want to appoint people to do extensive job on your fintech remittances and see. Because if we don't stop it and then we keep on writing these letters, suspension and what, the menace is going on. If even half of the remittances has been captured properly, the city won't be where it is. The city wouldn't be 17 something. But so I'm not pleading with Bank of Ghana. Because as you said, complicit, you're part of it. So how can you supervise your own thing? You've been going there consistently for the last 4 years. You've been auditing that institution. Couldn't you see? Didn't you have an eye? Couldn't you even come back to report that they're giving them the CD, they were not giving them the dollar? I mean, so for me, it's not a central bank. I'm not even talking about a Minister of Finance. I'm talking about these institutions that are trying to help us to put our things in order. Because if you give it to an average Ghanaian in any part of the people, I'm saying, they won't be able to do any work. And it's a serious, we should stop it. Because year 2025 and the year 2026, the year 2027 is going to be a critical year for us. Because we have managed to postpone our debt by disco and whatever it is, but we'll be paying on these years. What are we going to do? We don't grow cocoa again. We don't have gold again. We don't have anything. Only thing we can do is to make sure that we capture the remittances to support the consistent depreciation of the currency. That is why I'm not calling Bank of Ghana, because the financial crisis that came, you heard the statement that when people went to the people went to do the audit, they said they were there. They were there, so they didn't see. They do and see and they cross over it, and nobody knows what passes on, and they go. So that is why I'm calling the donor agencies. I'm pleading with them, especially the IMF. You can bring external people and give them commission to do a job over 3 years about a fintech, 4 years, and let us see how much we have lost and how much we could save, and possibly look at the law and begin to change the law.
Now, my final question to you has to do with the CD's performance against the dollar. It seems to be appreciating marginally against the dollar, for example. So, as of the close of November 11, Monday, the rate stood at, for instance, buying was 16.2919 and selling was 16.3082. But as of close of Tuesday, 12 November yesterday, it was at buying 16.2419 and then selling 16.2581. So that's a marginal gain there. What do you make of that? Is that something that we should be excited about?
No, we can't celebrate. At the beginning of the year, the city go and check, 11.9. And what you're telling me is not the true reflection, because if you go to the bureaus, it's quoting 1735. Because not everybody can go to the bank and do this business. And even if you go there, they don't have the dollar to give you. So it's an artificially created rate. The real rate is what you find outside, because that is where it comes in. But let me even not take consolation. If you were 11.8 or 11.9, and today you're close to 17, deduct the 17 from 11 and see, and over it and see the depreciation that has gone into the economy for the last. And that is why Bloomberg said it's the worst currency in Africa. It's worse than even Nigeria, because the way it is going, we don't have anything to show it. And yesterday I told you something. Every year until the debt crisis, every year by this time, cocoa has been syndicated. At least 1 billion would have come, and it will show the city. Today, our hands are tied at our back. People are not even interested to come, because when your country is bankrupt, it's called when you're bankrupt, nobody wants to deal with you, because everybody is afraid that if I bring it, will they be able to pay? Because you have so much debt overhang, so you may not. So look, if the cocoa syndication, if not the debt crisis, at least the city wouldn't be doing as it is. And that is the only consolation. Unfortunately, we've gone to tight our hands at the back, so we can't do anything. So I won't take consolation in the 16 something, because the way it is going, whether I set your rate and what I know I set your rate, we shouldn't gladden our hearts, because the journey ahead is going to be tough, as I told you yesterday. It's not going to be easy for Ghana. No.
Doc, thank you so much for speaking to us. We greatly appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you very much.
Have a lovely morning. You had us engage Dr. Richmond Etiahene. He is a banking consultant, and we spoke to him in relation to the latest notice from the BOG, the central bank, which has suspended the forex trading license of CBG Bank for 1 month. It's supposed to take effect from the 26th of November, and according to the Bank of Ghana, it is for multiple breaches. And the picture that is being painted by Dr. Richmond Etiahene is not in the least pleasing, and he is actually calling for a forensic audit, and he says he would want the donor agencies, especially the IMF, to take interest in this and lead the charge in terms of this forensic audit, because as we do see, or as we look at it, the BOG itself cannot exclude itself of blame in relation to this matter. It's a Morning Star here on Star 103.5 FM. Definitely we have a very long way to go.